Good morning. It's Monday. Yeah, day after Christmas. It's Monday. Yesterday, after we finished our dive, we went to go see like flamingos. And then after that, we came home and made a pretty good supper. We cooked up some chicken and just slathered it in some spices that the Airbnb host had here, which turned out actually really delicious. A German dish that Ellie knows. It's really simple. It's just potatoes and carrots, and then you like mash them all together. Oh, Bachtelstamp. That's what it's called. Bachtelstamp. And it's just potatoes and carrots, and you boil them up so they're soft, and you smash them together, and that's basically it. And yeah, so we had a really nice supper, and we got to sit outside on our little balcony thing, and just enjoy the nice weather while we ate. So that was a lot of fun. And now this morning we want to go get more scuba tanks and go to a place called Star Tea. They make fancy teas and they make some coffee. But I think I really actually want to try one of their teas because the pictures online make them look really fun. So yeah, that's our rough plan for this morning. And then we're going to go diving, of course. I think our plans today are to go to, it's called 1,000 steps. It's actually only 72 steps, but you do have to take steps down to get to the beach. And then a dive site called Karpata. It's a little bit more north. It's supposed to be one of the favorites of the island. Also one of the more current heavy areas as well. So we'll see how that goes. As long as the weather stays nice today, then I would love to go there too. And we'll just see where the day goes on our path.
These two won't come. So yesterday while we were diving, you know how Lucas injured his arm and he had a bunch of cuts and scrapes? Well, yesterday as I was diving next to him, since he was wearing a short wetsuit, I looked at his arm and his cuts were all blue. Yeah, so the deeper you penetrate into the water, the more red wavelengths are absorbed by the water, red wavelengths of light. And so the deeper you go into water, the more blue everything looks because the red can't penetrate as much. So I'm sure that's also then why my scrapes looked more blue, because the red couldn't come out. But it's actually interesting too because we just got flashlights, and when we turn them on under the water, they look like they're shining red beams, even though it's white. So that's also like an interesting way of realizing how that all works. So. We just stopped at a place called Star Tea. They make lots of different teas. Very interesting. I got a mixed fruit oolong tea. It's interesting. I have a coconut frappuccino.
I probably wouldn't order mine very often. It's not bad, it's just different. And I'm also not much of a tea person, but I wanted to try something that seemed kind of special.
Smart idea.
So now we're going to the tourist office, and then I guess we'll start our diving day.
Definitely.
Hello everyone. Usually after the dives we would have a little debriefing and we'd tell you all about the dive, but in Bonaire it was really windy and we definitely made a mistake of trying to record on our little patio in the wind, and you basically can't hear anything that we say. So instead, during the recording of our time under the water, I'll give a little explanation of the dive site itself and kind of what our thoughts were after the fact as well. And we'll just jump right into the rest of the video after that. So enjoy the dive. So this is Karpata. Karpata is the most northwestern dive site in Bonaire before reaching the marine park, which is considered a more advanced area for diving. Karpata is still considered one of the best dive sites in Bonaire thanks to its very well untouched reefs, corals, and all of the wildlife that lives there. For instance, this trunkfish, which was the biggest one we'd seen to this point. A lot of people suggest going to Karpata to see the wildlife, the turtles, the big macrofauna. And then when we got there were people saying that there were sea turtles right under the water. But when we got under the water, we didn't see any. We don't know if we went the wrong way or what, but either way, it was a really good dive. As you can see, we saw a lot of fish, which we often did on all the sites, but it was always fun to see the big schools of fish just floating in the middle of the water column. I always thought that was some of the most fun. more than anything, at this point, it's day 3 in Bonaire, and Ellie's really looking for the big life. She wants to see the spotted eagle rays, the whale sharks, and if you ask people, a lot of them will suggest Karpata for that because, again, it has some of the best reefs and best wildlife, and best chance to see the bigger animals that come because of the smaller animals. For us in this dive, we didn't see any of those big, massive animals that we were really hoping to see, but we saw things like this jackfish here, obviously coral in all directions, schools of fish, and other divers. But Ellie's always my favorite diver to see on these trips. Now for us, by now, we're getting pretty well adapted to Bonaire, and we really wanted to see everything that we possibly could under the water. But it's also, for new divers like us, I think, hard to appreciate everything because we just don't know what's all out there yet in the diving world. And so, at least for me personally, by now, it felt like we're just seeing coral every time and the same fish, and while it's always fun, I wasn't as mesmerized, and I was hoping Karpata was going to be the special treat to break that trend, but at least for me, that wasn't the case. I would recommend anyone traveling to Bonaire to see Karpata anyways. You should see all the dive sites that you can, they're all beautiful, but by this point in the trip, that's where me and Ellie were mentally. And as you'll kind of see later, I think at this point, 3 days of 2 dives a day, lots of traveling and carrying stuff around, I think we were just feeling it physically as well. We were just tired.
Karpata was fun because you saw some boxfish, but they were bigger. Or was that a cowfish then?
Yeah, we saw a cowfish. That was really cool. There were some trunkfish. I actually don't know if I saw any trumpet fish this time.
No, I didn't.
But the cowfish was really cool to see and unexpected.
Our goals. We also saw a puffer. Not a puffer.
No, I did. I
One.
was trying to point out to you that I'm pretty sure we did see a puffer fish. It was right around the time that we turned around.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to say let's go back, but I was also trying to point to the fish.
Karpata is one of the spaces where if you would see a whale shark in Bonaire, that's where you would see it typically. We didn't see one, so I'm sad. We also didn't see any turtles nor an octopus, and those are the 3. Well, we've seen turtles already, but an octopus and a whale shark we still want to see, and eagle rays.
And when we were getting into the water, a bunch of people were saying how they saw turtles. And it seemed like they thought they saw a few, more than just one. But we got in and we didn't see any turtles. I don't know if we went the wrong direction or if we went too deep right away or what, but I didn't see any sign of turtles.
I am exhausted. I'm not quite sure why. I think it's just hard diving. I don't know, you wouldn't really say we're diving straight because it's not like we're diving 3 or 4 plus times a day, But I think 2 days of diving, having at least 2 dives each day is definitely caught up to me. And after lunch, I put on dry clothes, which was probably a mistake because now my body's already shut off. Whereas if I would have left my wetsuit on, I would have been okay, yeah, let's do another dive. But I am kind of tired, and I don't think this is the best time to go diving. So we're going to head up to the Cactus distillery, also because we found out that the best time to visit it is when there's not a cruise ship docked, because then there'll have a lot of people there. And today is the first day that for the entire afternoon we have not seen a cruise ship. Normally we've seen a cruise ship from sunup to sundown here. And now there's no cruise ship, so we're gonna head up there.
So we're eating supper, as you can see. We did our Karpata dive, which we talked about during lunch. And then we're gonna go for dive number 2. But Elliot's feeling really tired, so we went to the, what's it called?
Kaduri.
So we went to the Cactus distillery, and it's, I think, the only distillery in the world that makes alcohol through cactuses. Specifically, they use the Kadushi cactus. It's native here in Bonaire. I'm not sure if it's other places, but it's all over the island. It's basically the tree of the island in a sense. And so we went over there. We got there at just the right time because we thought they closed at 5, but today they apparently closed at 4. So I think we walked in at like 3:45, having no idea. And then it was only when we were getting ready to leave that we found out that they were like basically already closed as we were leaving. But they said it was no big deal. It's just like they don't let anyone back in at 4, but like people that are already there can like do whatever they want. And I mean, it was really simple. It's like don't come all the way to Bonaire just because you want to see the Cactus distillery, unless you only care about alcohol. Then I guess, do what you want to do. But it's probably not worth the whole flight and money to get here just for the distillery. But it's still something I think worth checking out. If you're in Bonaire from the capital city that we're staying in, it's like a half-hour drive. And I mean, you could stay there as long as you wanted to. They have like sitting areas, so clearly people probably do sit there and just kind of enjoy some time with a beverage and whatnot. But basically, when we got there, you walk in the gate, and immediately there's like a little kind of a tiki bar kind of spot, and you get to try basically all the different alcohols that they have, whichever you want to try. They just ask you what you want to have, and you tell them, and they pour you like a little quarter shot worth, just like a little plastic cups worth. You give it a taste, and you can do that with basically everything, and it's free. There's no charge to come in. They don't charge you for the tasting. It was a little hard because like the lady that we had, who kind of working with us, kind of gave us a short little overview of things, but her accent was like a little on the heavier side, so it was a little bit harder for me to understand her. And then she basically go, all right, so whatever you want to try, let me know. And then I was like, well, I don't even know what you have. Like,
basically it was like there were 6 different colored bottles, each like representing the 6 Dutch Caribbean islands, which I didn't know there were 6 Dutch Caribbean islands.
Yeah, I guess so. All made in like the traditional like Dutch brewing method.
They represented Aruba. They had cherries that were specific to Aruba in one of their liqueurs, and a rose aloe water or something like that. For Bonaire, it's the Cactus. For Curacao, it was a special type of green fruit.
Yeah, she said what it was, but I couldn't really understand.
I didn't remember.
And then there's what else? I don't know. I don't even know. I tried another one,
a yellow one, which was had guava in it. I don't remember which island that represented. The purple one.
Yeah, I don't remember what that one is either.
I think that one was Curacao, but maybe. I don't remember what was in it.
There's one for St. Martin. Anyways, there's 6.
There's a spicy one, and then there's an orange one
that they make, and then they also make other things like whiskey, vodka, gin. They basically make all your various forms of like hard distilled liquors.
But the whiskey was special because they also used some cactus parts in it, I thought.
Yeah, it's special because of the cactus, and it's aged in barrels that are, so there's something special about the barrels. It was kind of, again, hard for me to understand all of it.
It had something to do with France.
Yeah, because her accent was just a little heavy, and so some things I got really easily, and other things I wasn't quite sure what she was saying.
On the other hand, I don't know that much about alcohol.
Like I said, they make a vodka. It's the only vodka in the world made out of cactus. So I think that actually be kind of interesting. But yeah, so you get to walk in, you try out these like different alcohols if you want. You can order a beverage, and then you can go for a little like 10-minute summary of how their whole system works, and that's just you walk over to a different tiki bar and they just kind of walk you through using some pictures and
I mean, I think that was
examples.
their original production plant was a small little area, a small room, but they recently acquired a bigger complex right next door, and they're working on building that still. But we got to walk in and see what they had so far, and they were bottling some stuff.
Yeah, so
I'm chilly. I'll be right back.
but so all in all, I mean, we got in and out in like 15 minutes, and I mean, unless you want to stay to just enjoy the beverage, that's probably all the time you will need. Which, like I said, is like, that's why it's not really maybe that worth it, because it's not like you're going there to get like an hour-long tour of a working facility and all this stuff. Even though they do the distilling there, you're not going to get to like see how it all works. You're just going to get to see the general machines and stuff that they use. But it's still definitely worth a little drive, and I actually really liked all their liqueurs. I didn't dislike any of them. My favorite was the Kadushi cactus one. So that it's like it looks kind of like it's like lime green, basically. I thought that one was my favorite, but they all tasted pretty good.
Would you say, and the Kadushi one had like lime and cactus in it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that that is kind of similar to Jägermeister?
No,
It tasted kind of wintry to
I don't
me.
know. I don't really drink Jägermeister.
Okay.
But I liked it. The cherry one was also, I mean, they were all fine. The yellow one you had was actually quite
I
good
really
too.
liked that. Was my second favorite one.
They had one, there's a spiced one that used like cinnamon and clove and all these other kinds of spices. That one we didn't taste, but we got to smell it, and holy crap, that was strong. My like nose like blew up. So I wonder what that tastes like. And you don't even like have to go to the distillery to buy these things. You can just buy them at like those supermarkets on the island. They all basically have it. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting experience at the very least. And after that, we just came home.
I'm so tired.
So we'll relax tonight, and then tomorrow we have 2 dives planned. Going to another super iconic one, and then to another one that's not necessarily as iconic, but still has, I mean, all the dive spots have great reviews if you look on Google. But hopefully at this one we'll see some eagle race. That's Ellie's like #1 wish for the animals.
No, whale sharks. Where have you been?
Whale sharks. I feel like the eagle ray is much more
The
likely to
second.
be seen.
Right. I'm wearing spotted eagle ray pants. I'm all about this. There's even a presentation tonight at 7:30.
That's not
About
manta ray.
this. Yes, on manta rays. So I wanted to go, but we decided since it's our honeymoon and since it's at 7:30, and since you probably won't even get to see one, I don't know. It'd be cool to learn about them, but no, not today.
Yeah. So that's all. Now we're gonna relax, watch a movie.
Crash.
Yeah.